All I wish is for you to sit and talk with me.
Sit. Here.
Yes. Please.
You didn't tell me Herkimer Homolka was in this one! Welcome to the Fortress of Dorkness, the nerdy nexus for all your geeky needs. I'm your host, Chris Boy. Chris Boy?
Otisburg?
It's time to go to hell and back with a few pit stops along the way.
Pit stop!
Real History is combing the files of the b.p.r.d. to learn the secret truth behind Guillermo Del Toro's defunct Hellboy 3. 2008's Hellboy 2: The Golden Army was released to much praise and positive financial success. All this only a mere week before the shockingly Dr. Fateless box office loin obliterator that was The Dark Knight. This prompted many fans to ask, where was the sequel? At the time of its release, director Guillermo Del Toro was deep in Smaug's lair, as he was still signed on to direct the feature film adaptation of The Hobbit, taking up most of his time. He told IGN that he knew where the third film would lead them, and would consider doing it sooner if Ron Perlman was interested. 2 years later, Del Toro dropped out of Gandalf the Grey and the 12 Dwarves plus Hobbitses, leaving a rift in the master filmmaker's schedule. He said in this year of 2010 that Eternal Damnation Kid 3 may follow up his next project. 2 more years would pass, and much like James Cameron's work on Avatar 2, nothing happened on The Boy from Hell's front. Jim, can I call you Jim? This is Christian. I'm a really huge fan of Avatar, and I've been waiting anxiously, patiently, sexually for Avatar 2. And I even have over here, I have a copy of Avatar on Blu-ray. I bought it not once but twice, and I'd really like for you to get me Avatar 2. See this right here, this is my hand, and this is Avatar 2 like coming into my hand. And I'd appreciate it if you would really just get on that. Please, Jim. Please. Until Ron Perlman appeared in full Crimson Lad cosplay for Make-A-Wish, piquing Del Toro's interest again. He told Superhero Hype in 2012, "We're going to make an effort to do it. I hope it happens." At this stage, there was still no studio attached to the film. The following year, Hellboy creator, comic book writer, and artist Mike Mignola joked with Comic Book Resource while speaking about the upcoming Hellboy in Hell comic, "The biggest problem I see as far as PR for the next billion years is explaining endlessly not only that there is no Hellboy 3 movie, but it's going to be explaining it's a series, but it's not a monthly series." Mignola's comments implied that Rouge Villain Trace was as dead as Sheev Palpatine. Sheev? Oddly, Guillermo Del Toro continued to bring up his third child from hell in the press only a few months after Mignola's statement. Not Benicio said that he was pursuing Legendary Pictures to release the film, and that Perlman was excited to bring a conclusion to the story they started back in the year of the Terminal.
I wait.
Producer Thomas Tull of Legendary said he would be interested in seeing a third film in the franchise, but never mentioned producing it. I guess Guillermo realized his enthusiasm was falling on deaf ears, as he mentioned to Collider that he considered doing a sequel as a comic, but Mignola was very specific about keeping the comic and movie universes separate. Even though Marvel has been expanding their MCU with comic book tie-ins as far back as Iron Man 2.
Oh my God!
In 2013, Ron Perlman once again started his advocacy for the Hornless Hero's third exploit. With tweets and posts citing his interest in the project, it was clear he and Del Toro did not want the film to go the way of Don Quixote. Ooh, too soon.
Not bad.
He told ComingSoon.net it could kill me in terms of physically demanding for a guy my age, but it's worth it because anyone who sits and listens to Guillermo's version of how this thing ends is completely seduced. 2014 rolled around and Mignola, writer Andrew Cosby, and other members of the team began outlining a new story themselves, with Neil Marshall potentially directing. Perlman refused to take part in the film unless his BFF Del Toro was involved. The game of will they won't they of Ross and Rachel proportions continued, as in a Reddit AMA, Del Toro said that he did not think Hellboy 3 would happen. But that didn't stop Perlman from continuing his campaign of the limboed flick from 2015 through 2016 with little movement on the project. All that was known was that one party involved was hesitant.
It is known.
Then in early 2017, Toro Didel whipped out the Good Samaritan and took one final shot.
Tell him to hit me with his best shot.
He tweeted that if he received 100,000 votes of support for the film, he would approach Mignola and Perlman and have a final sit-down on the project. And receive these votes he did, much to the delight of fans, as a crack in the clouds appeared and God stretched forth his plump hand to give a ray of hope for the film.
What are you doing now?
I'm averting my eyes, O Lord.
Well, don't. It's like those miserable psalms. They're so depressing.
But it turned out to be nothing more than an almighty mountain, as shortly after, Del Toro tweeted, "Sorry to report. Spoke with all parties, must report that 100% the sequel will not happen." The final nail in the coffin followed closely, as in May of 2017, the unknown holdout, Mignola, announced that the Scarlet Meanie was getting an R-rated reboot with David Harbour possibly filling in Perlman's shoes.
Where is my goddamn shoe?
A few months later, when Perlman was asked if he would cameo in the new film, his response was unique, as even though he gave the new team his blessing, he tweeted, "When Hellboy freezes over." On a final note, we'll jump back to 2008 to Del Toro's interview with IGN. In this interview, he said, "I would love to finish the story of this incarnation of Hellboy in a rather bittersweet way. We did have ideas for the third one that were quite heartbreaking. The third one would be essentially the end of days. It would be very grand, operatic, and quite tragic." Perlman similarly told Motor City Comic-Con in 2017, the third one was meant to be epic and conclusive, and a resolve for all these almost Greek oracle promises of the destiny of Hellboy. It would have made for a really good movie, I think. As fans of the Hellboy franchise, we can only speculate, and what we're speculating is that Mike Mignola just didn't want to do another one with Del Toro. Why? With this new reboot, we may never know, as mum seems to be the word on the subject.
Remember, mum is the word.
Suddenly,
What we do know is that with 2008's Iron Man, the direction of superhero movies was about to see a big change. The pre-MCU days of superhero storytelling were coming to an end, leaving the original two Hellboy films as relics of an age we will surely miss. Please, Jim. That's all we have for today. Leave your comments below or face our convenient fist.
Let's go. You don't belong here.
I'm Danny Rand.
Please like, subscribe, and follow us as we creep on Ron Perlman's amazing set of pectorals. This has been Real History. I'm Christian Villarreal, and you've been watching The Fortress of Dorkness.